stop working for this. Here is fake money. I would never work for this stuff. It's good as toilet paper. That's what my message is. Work for assets. Don't work for this.
你是不是已经厌倦了每天辛辛苦苦努力工作，可是银行户口还是没有存款的日子？今天我们就让《富爸爸穷爸爸》的作者罗伯特清崎 Robert Kiyosaki 来给当代的年轻人一些致富的建议，尤其是90后的我们，让他告诉我们他是怎样成为一个有钱人的，我们又应该要学什么或者做什么才可以成为有钱人。如果你想听一个真正的富人来教我们怎样成为一个有钱人，那么这期影片你一定要看到最后。Hi Robert， 你在《富爸爸穷爸爸》这本书里面一直强调，学校从来没有教我们要讲致富，要讲成为一个有钱人，你可以说明一下你的看法吗？
The school system will never teach you about money. The school system was designed to teach you to be an employee or a doctor or a lawyer, a specialist, but never about money. You know, people say, well, money is not that important to me. Then if money is not that important to you, money is not important to you. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't care about money. The money doesn't care about you. You know, Einstein said, you know, imagination is more important than knowledge, but knowledge empowers imagination. And what most people lack is real business knowledge, like accounting, you know, like debt, like taxes. You got to know that stuff, but they don't teach it in school to anybody.
那么如果普通人或者像我们一样的年轻人想要成为一个有钱人，我们应该要学习什么财商知识才可以帮我们创造财富？
Probably 95% of all college graduates don't know what a financial statement is. But I say to young people like you, there's 6 basic words to financial literacy and financial education. And the 6 words again are income, expense, asset, liability. And the last 2 words are the words cash flow. And that's why the game is called cash flow. And the secret to being rich is not a college education, but can you control cash flow? And this is what cash flowing looks like. So this here, you need this, income, expense, asset, liability. Again, this is, you get a job. And this was my poor dad, go to school, get a job, get your PhD. And so this here is cash flow. So the income comes in and it goes out this way. First line of expense is tax. So this is a poor person's cash flow pattern. It's not how much money you make. Most people, you know, I don't care if you have a PhD or no school at all, but they can't control the cash flowing out through their expenses. And so that's why people like Susie Orman say, cut up your credit cards, live below your means, because you're a spendaholic. Intelligence, IQ, is can you control cash flow, not your college degree. College degrees are important, but they're not going to teach you this. So the cash flow game trains you over and over and over and over again to get your money in here to get cash flow this way. So I started with this. It cost me $18,000. I paid for the credit card and I put $25 in my pocket. Okay? It's an infinite return because the cash flow paid for the mortgage, it paid the expenses, pays the operating costs, and I still made $25. As a young person, you just focus on that. So when you're buying a new house, you gotta say, is this gonna take money or put money? You buy an apartment house, is it gonna take money or put money? That's it. It's cash flow. 6 most important words for financial intelligence and IQ is income, expense, asset, liability, but it's really cash flow.
可以跟我们分享你是如何致富的吗？
So how do I get rich? I borrow money and I buy assets with it. The poor person borrows money and buys liabilities like purses, cars, houses, and they get poorer and poorer and poorer.
我相信很多人对于借钱都是很抗拒的，可是 Robert 却告诉我们你是靠借钱来致富的。你可以跟我们分享你是怎样做到的吗？
So for those listening, debt is a 4-letter word for most people. There are many people in my position, so-called financial gurus, who say live totally debt-free. And the other thing about debt, there's good debt and bad debt. Again, it goes back to the financial statement. income, expense, asset, liability. So debt falls in here. So if you, let's say I'm going to buy, everybody says I'm going to buy a house, and everybody says my house is an asset. That's not true. Your house is a liability. I don't care if you have no debt on it or not. A house is a liability. Same as if you have a car. A car is a liability. And the reason for that is, as we talked about earlier, the 6 words that are basics of financial education, financial intelligence: income, expense, asset, liability. And the 2 other words are cash flow. So when you look at the average person, they have a job, money comes in here, they pay for their house, and the money goes to a bank through a mortgage. So it's not an asset because the cash is flowing out, so it's a liability. So the definition of liability, does it take money from your pocket? And for an asset, does it put money in your pocket? So when I have a rental property here, it puts money in my pocket. So if I live in the house, it's a liability, because even if I have no debt on it, I still have taxes, depreciation, repairs, and upkeep, insurance, and all this. When I rent a property, I've done a good job buying it and structuring it. Every month it sends me money. So I started off when I was 25, I had a little 1-bedroom condo, and it put $25 in my pocket. It was a start. So this was good debt. You see, the debt also went out and paid, but it also put $25 in my pocket. So net, I was making money from my little house. So today, my wife and I own 6,500 of them. And every month, 6,500 houses put money in my pocket. My people who live in them love me and all this because they have a place to live. But all of this comes from debt. See, they're 100% financed here. It's all debt. So this is good debt. And what makes it good debt are the 2 most important words: cash flow. Does that make sense to you?
Robert， 你对于现在很多年轻人都选择活在当下，宁可精致穷也不除潮富的理财观有什么看法？你又想给年轻人什么样的建议？
Because one of the biggest mistakes, I still hear it today from young people, oh, I don't have to worry because I'm still
young.
Yeah, and that is death to most people, because eventually you get old and then you're not young again. So it's a way of saying, when I talk about assets and liabilities, one of the most important things you have in your life is time. It's one of your greatest assets, or it's your liability. And being, I just turned 70, and I have friends who have nothing. I mean, they have zero. Now they've made a lot of money, but they have nothing here. They have nice houses, nice cars, 16 wives, 19 kids. I don't know what they have, but you know what I mean? And being young is great, except it can be a liability to you. Because when you're young, you're just having a lot of fun and life's exciting, it's new. So, as a time, but the thing is, this is the lesson today, is so many people spend their time focusing here. They want to make a lot of money. And I can hear it in their words. They say, oh, I want a career. This is career. Okay, or I'm going to start my own business. And this is the chart here, which we've seen. This is the cash flow quadrant, book number 2. E is employee. S is small business, self-employed, or a specialist like a doctor, lawyer, web designer. B is big business, 500 employees or more. And I is professional investor. So when I was your age, I knew I wanted to get here. This takes time. This is the hardest, you know. This is where the big mega bucks are. And Kim and I are here. And the money is massive. But it takes time to get there. The big mistake I see young people make is they focus here. And the words are, I want to do what I love. That's the trick. You see, in real life, sometimes you have to do what you hate. Like people think I like to write books. I hate writing books. But it fills my purpose in life. It's not my passion, my purpose in life. Because my purpose was to get here. A lot of these guys get trapped here doing what they love. So when I was before my 20s, I knew I wanted to go there, and it wasn't doing what I loved. I had to learn what I didn't want to learn. I had sometimes to do what I hated. I had to learn about taxes. I had to learn about debt. I had to take classes. I had to learn about insurance. So I was doing a lot of things I hated doing so I could come over here. These guys never do this because they live their passion. I want my passion. The big mistakes I see young people making is here. You know, they think about what they want to do, what they love. And what I'm saying to you, the millennials right now, invest in what you love. There's a very big difference. In other words, think about this side first. Most young people, or should I say, short-sighted people, they think this is it or this is it. But this is the one here. So when I was your age, I knew that the assets I wanted to acquire, the richest people own businesses. Over here, these guys are small business, self-employed. You're self-employed if you can't stop working. I stopped working years ago because I have businesses. Very big difference. It was painful, but I got there. So number one is a business. So when I was in my 20s, I knew I was going to do what it would take to school, study, learn about taxes, debt, insurance, accounting, lawsuits, and all this through business. Next is real estate. I love real estate. But most people can't do what I do because they don't have a business. It's catch-22. They don't have enough money to get over here. So the reason I make more money is because it's not what I'm doing what I love. I do sometimes what I hate so I can have the assets that I love. I love having a business. You know, if I didn't have a business, you wouldn't be here. Darren wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a CEO and president. I wouldn't have accountants. I wouldn't have attorneys. So the business affords me the lifestyle I want. And then I invest in real estate. I've never gone past a piece of land or a building I did not love. And then what most people invest in from there is paper. And that's fine. That's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, savings, ETFs. Not my game. I don't love it. I actually hate it. But these guys, it's perfect for them to have paper, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETF, and all that, because they're focused over here. They want to do what they love. They want to climb the ladder. They want their career. They want this. I'm going to become president. You know, that's not what I wanted. I want to be a football star. But this is for the middle class here. That's fine. You can get rich here too. I just don't like it. It's not exciting to me. And then the last one are commodities. And the four basic commodities, a lot of commodities like food. Farmers get rich, they provide food, which is good. I invest in food. Oil, gold, silver. I love those things. So I'm doing what I love here, here, and here. I don't like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, 401ks, IRAs. I think it doesn't excite me, you know? It just doesn't. This excites me. So I invest in what I love rather than do what I love. And these guys do what they love, but most of them never get over here. You know, this is like Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg, Bezos of Amazon, and they have all the money in the world. That was my plan. Give you one last word that's very, very important for people to understand at a young age. And the word is called liquidity. The reason this is better for most people is because it's liquid. You can buy a stock, you make a mistake, you get out. You buy an ETF, you make a mistake, you get out. It's good, it's important. The moment you go into real estate, you're not liquid. That's why you got to be smarter going in, because if you make a mistake, you can't get out. And you buy a bad piece of property, you write it down. And the same as businesses, you're in there, you're solid, you can't get out. Like if Rich Dad's gotten in trouble, with money, and all businesses are, I can't quit. Employees just quit and they leave. They run like little rats, But if you're in here or here, you can't get out. So that's why liquidity is crucial. It's very important, which means that's why Rich Dad's coaching, Rich Dad's education, with all our programs and all this. But most people are not willing to do this study because they want to do what they love, rather invest and acquire what they love. Bonds, mutual funds, ETF savings are good because they're liquid. You can make a mistake and get out. These things, hard to get out of, including gold. Gold's hard to get out of sometimes. Gold's more liquid than this. Oil is tough to get out of. You make a mistake there, you're going to ride that baby down, Silver's pretty easy. But the word is liquidity. The less liquid, the higher your financial IQ. You've got to be so much smarter. And most people, they have it. They have that ability to be that smart, but they rather do what they love rather than invest in what they love.
最后，现在的经济状况对于我们年轻人来讲，我觉得是非常有挑战的。就算当代年轻人的教育水平比以前的人高，赚的钱也可能比以前的人多，可是我们的生活却没有比上一代的人来得容易，甚至我感觉生活是过得比上一代的人还辛苦。Robert， 你对于年轻人未来的前景有什么看法？有什么想要对我们年轻人讲的吗？
I've said it several times during this series that I had it really easy. I graduated from school, there was a lot of high-paying jobs, stock market was going up, real estate prices were really cheap. You can buy a condo for $18,000 on the beach in Maui. Today you don't do that because the government has mismanaged our economy. And so you guys, younger guys, you have to be 10 times smarter than me. So I'm willing to pass on what I know to you, because what I see happening for you guys is, I hate to say this, but you guys are in trouble. And it's because not my generation, but the generation before is leaving a horrible economy for you. So if you're not, even if you go to college, it doesn't guarantee you'll do well. So this is what I see coming in the future. Financial statement, it's the balance sheet. What I'm concerned about for the millennials, okay? So here we have M for millennials. It's a lot of you. But over here we have today, boom, baby boomers, me. And what's going to happen is that it's going to be the flow of people. You guys are going to flow over here, and you'll be producing the income to pay the taxes and all this. These guys are going to come over here. We're going to be the biggest liabilities you've ever seen. They estimate that, and nobody knows the real number, but the estimations are this bill for all the social programs, the welfare programs, all the Social Security, retirement plans, and all this is estimated to be $265 trillion. You guys are going to have to pay for that. So when old guys like me move over here and you guys take over the economy here, what's going to happen is, go up. You have to pay taxes to pay for these guys. So that's why when I speak to young people and all this, I kind of joke around a lot and things like this. But this is a massive, 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 massive social problem. Like if your mother and father had no money, what would you have to do? You have to pay for them, right?
Yeah.
Can you afford their health care right now?
I don't think so.
You know, like I cut my finger here 2 years ago. The bill was $34,000 for one stitch. $34,000. That's where this comes. They're estimating. They don't know how much this is going to be. Total, all the national debt and all this. And as we're talking, you know, they can't balance. They need to extend the budget to pay for our bills and all this. And it's only going to get worse. So when I speak to your generation, our generation had it really easy. We're going to cruise over here. You guys have had it pretty hard, and it's going to get worse, is my opinion. So that's why the idea of go to school, get a job, work hard, save money, get out of debt, put in a 401k. That was my generation. It didn't work for us, but you guys are going to try the same thing. So the reason your generation, millennials, have to be smarter is you guys are just coming this way.
Yeah, definitely.
And some of you can't even find jobs. You have to understand this. And so the people who are, right, like I always talk about it, you know, they're going to be E's, S's, B's, and I's. These guys are going to pay for it here. These guys are going to skate past it. I was a millennial. I definitely wouldn't want to be an E and S right now, because the tax breaks, the advantages, the leverage, I can expand my means. You know, rather than living below me, I can expand my means pretty rapidly. And especially today with the internet and all this, you can do very well, very quickly, you know, fast. But not if you're thinking like the old guys, like these guys. So that you have a very huge advantage here, but unfortunately these guys are in your way.